Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in today's top stories, we are discussing, of course, the continuing Democrat show trial known as the January 6th Committee. And as you guys know, who have been following the channel, because you guys are astute, you guys are present, you guys are aware, you guys are cogent and rational, and understand that Democrats are making a play as it is the midterms, and they are suffering miserably in polling, as well as the Biden administration equally as suffering in this whole play for attention by the Democrats to maintain their control. Their continuing argument that democracy was threatened, but as we all know, cogent, rational, common sense thinking people, we all know that when the Democrats say threat to democracy, what they mean is people who don't vote Democrat. So here we have former Meadows aide testifies before January 6th committee. So Cassidy Hutchinson, an aide to former President Donald Trump's last chief of staff, Mark Meadows, testified on Tuesday before the select committee investigating the U.S. Capitol attack on January 6th. That's quite a mouthful. Hutchinson, who previously gave videotaped depositions to the committee behind closed doors, appeared during a 1 p.m. live hearing, and no one really... I don't know how many people are watching. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments if you're even remotely paying attention to this show trial, because as you know, as we have covered, and as we talk almost ad nauseum here about the fact that for 2 years, the Democrats intentionally, willfully pursued a fabricated story about Russian collusion, and then to top it all off, they deliberately and intentionally suppressed a news story about Hunter Biden's laptop. So I don't see how any of this has any level of clout or authenticity, much less a sense of genuineness, other than to continue to dangle the carrot. Now, mentioning dangling the carrot, we mentioned this on the Friday vlog. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check out the Friday vlog, by all means do so. From the Washington Post, opinion, this is by Edward Foley. There is a better option to keep Trump out of office than prosecution. So you see here, he is exemplifying the carrot on the stick. Now, this is something we talk about quite often, and that is because you guys are astute, because you guys pay attention, you understand that the Democrats are just dragging people along, trying to convince people of something that people can already see with their own eyes and can determine based upon their own sense of recognition to make distinctions. If the goal of prosecuting former President Donald Trump is to protect American democracy from a Trump comeback in 2024, there's a better way to go about it than filing criminal charges, says Foley. Instead, Congress should exercise its constitutional authority to prohibit Trump from seeking the presidency again. So does that say fascism right there? Where is Antifa in all of this, by the way? I'm just curious. So the Democrat authoritarianist out there, the authoritarian approach to this is to keep Donald Trump from being able to run at all. And that is the entirety of this is to keep President Trump from running, and it's not going to be successful. How many times do they have to pursue Donald Trump? How many times must they continue this badgering of Americans, presuming that we are dumb, presuming that we're just going to just believe it if they just keep repeating it, and repeating it. Now, here's the distinction. We, as cogent, common sense, rational people, can make clear distinctions. So I present to you here from BNN Newsroom, watch. Chaotic scene during pro-choice rally at the Arizona Capitol, forcing the Senate to go into recess. Is this a insurrection? I'm going to play just a little bit of it for you. Okay, so is that an insurrection? Is that not too dissimilar to what we saw on January 6th? Now, from our good friends here from Timcast, of course, these articles, for example, the opinion from Foley was something he presented as well. And I just wanted to share it with you because it's so pivotal and so important. And, of course, Tim is saying that we could be very gradually leading into some form of civil war. Of course, we already know that the social civil war, the fourth and fifth generational warfare, is already taking place on the internet, on social media. But there's the video we just watched. And then, of course, we have here another tweet from Brahim who says, and then Senate immediately bails out because of security situation area outside Senate filled with people protesting Roe decision. They appear to have entered building. Now, I don't know whether or not they actually entered the building, because in these fog of war situations, people have a tendency to interpret, reinterpret, and misinterpret things. But nonetheless, obviously, we see that going on here. And then from Mary Jo, we have State Senate Assembly assembles in a hearing room to continue work on major water legislation because the fumes from tear gas outside is too thick in their chambers. Police fired tear gas after people at an abortion rally pounded on doors and windows, as we just heard. However, of course, is this an insurrection? I ask you. Could you not just say this is an insurrection, just like the Democrats say? Just because it comes out of the mouth of a Democrat does not mean it's actually true, of course, or even a politician for that matter. But the idea here is the Democrats are trying to sell everyone on the idea that during the Capitol 6 events that there was some major uprise of a Trump-supporting group of people who wanted to steal the election, as the Democrats also say. However, we already know that they had their own plans, their own methods, as we saw in Molly Ball's article, a cabal of people working together to secure an election for a desired outcome. The very language is ambiguous, but we know exactly the clarity of her message, and that is, look, we got away with something, and that's exactly what the Democrats are trying to do with this, is they actually think that people are too dumb to make these simple distinctions. And here we have from Michelle, Arizona State Senate. So they're just showing, again, more of the activity. Here, so they are inside. Oh, okay, so these are the officers outside. So can we call that an insurrection? Police fire tear gas towards pro-choice protesters in Phoenix. So there's tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet, and even from Andy No, our good buddy Andy No, who constantly covers Antifa and lets us know what's going on with Antifa. But of course, so what's Biden doing? It's interesting because do you think Biden remembers this? Probably not. The president needs to stop blaming others and do his job. How interesting. So would you not come to the conclusion that Democrats just assume that people are too dumb to figure out or to make distinctions, or we can't figure out how to make distinctions to be able to understand that the Democrats are simply trying to appeal to, I guess, a group of people who don't know or don't care? They just want to convince everyone that there's this situation going on so they can continue the chaos, so they can continue the uncertainty and the anxiety, so that people will just vote for them to come and save them from the troubles and worries that the Democrats believe they have a solution to, but they don't. The Democrats have oversold themselves, and there's nothing, they're not showing any evidence that they're able to produce any sort of solution or any answer to the problems that we are facing right now. And that's what I had for you guys today. If you haven't already, be sure to click that like button. I'm not sure why that pop-up came up. That's very annoying. Nonetheless, guys, as we were interrupted there, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, be sure you have subscribed if you are following here also on Alternative Tech. Appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon. You can click on to subscribe along with notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.